Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
Yeah, baby, here we go. It's a Friday. Friday. Yeah. Gosh, you know, you go off of like a St. Patrick's Day, and you're like, it's probably going to be a while before I drink again. Then you go through a week, and you go, I don't know, I think I'm ready to drink again.
Yep, 6 days, I'm good.
Yeah.
It takes 48 hours for the shame to wipe away. I've done work on that.
Depends on how bad what you did was.
Well, if you're going past 48 hours of shame, you probably should be in prison.
It is a good window for it, yeah.
All right.
It is a good window for it, yeah. No, I think... boy, getting back onto it. Well, it's like, you know, I was on it. For me, a lot of my guilt, you know, and my whole life it's been this way, is, you know, it comes from my mother. And so, yeah, I got one of those texts from my mom. And I don't even know what she listens to on the show, but she heard something and, you know, gave me another one of those guilt texts this week. Like, I think you're drinking too much. I come from, no one in our family drinks. I don't know where this came from for you. I'm not a drinker. Your dad's not a drinker. Like, I'm just worried about the example you're setting for your children and blah, blah, blah. And just like, yeah.
It might have been when we were talking about how you would do hard liquor, but only one on a Tuesday.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even remember, you know, and who knows. And now, oddly enough, because I think there's, with my mom, I think there's some stuff that on KVJ she kind of objects to. It's a little past her moral bearings. And so I found that I think my mom's listening to me doing the sports stuff because, you know, my family's, I grew up in a sportsy, you know, we're just a very sportsy family and all that kind of stuff. And it's, you know, sports, we're not getting into the asinineness of things, but I think that on there I even mentioned, you know, and that's maybe where she heard it, was I was talking about, Saturday, blew it out, had a good night or whatever. I might have maybe even just made a basic reference to that because I think it came shortly thereafter.
You did do the beer chug on the show too?
Yeah, I think that's a combo of it. So yeah, I definitely heard from my mom this week.
You can't change who you are, though. You got to be true to you. Don't let that get in your head.
It does. And I'm not going to lie. It does. And I do talk to myself and I watch myself and ultimately who I want to be with the drink. And I mean, here I am. I'm a 44-year-old dude and I grew up in an area. I think part of it too is cultural and how you grew up. And I grew up in Logan, man. I mean, we're just a group of people that people party hard there. They drink because there's nothing to do. So you would drink, and binge drinking was a big thing. Like, you know, and we would day drink as we were big into college football. And so we'd watch football on Saturday and you drink all day and all night. And that was kind of the fortitude of a man. Like, you would be able to drink an ass load of alcohol and be able to hold it together. And so that was always kind of like proving ground as I was growing up. And so it's hard when you start doing that in Logan. And I was a late bloomer. I started probably drinking at like 16. And like everybody had, I mean, most of my friends were drinking a year ahead of me, and I was going to every party like the sober nerd and just like, gosh, this sucks. You know, if you've ever been that sober person at a drunk party.
What's that like?
It's awful. It really is. It's tough. I would spend, because they would go, you know, you'd have to go high to go drink, and it would be me. I remember a party, it was just, I look around, I was the only one hanging out like in the living room playing music for myself, and I'm like, I might as well just stay home.
Yeah,
like,
I was designated driver in high school. I was actually very against drinking.
Yeah, so I you know, kind of got into it with that, and then I went to Ohio University, which is one of the, when I was there, it's always been a top 5, and it was a source of pride. You know, basically we got all
party school.
It was a massive party school. It was the derelicts from my area who were partiers anyway, and then we would get the rich kids from the Northeast, like your Connecticut and everything, that couldn't get into the big schools, but they had the money.
Right.
And so they were usually there because they partied too much in high school with daddy's money. And so it was a big, you know, fraternity, sorority type of school and big ass party area. And so you spend the next 4 years doing that, and okay, you're pretty much ingrained. You're like, this is just how people live life, baby. You know, and so it has been part of it, is trying to shake that. Ideally, I like to be the guy that has a couple beers and I unwind a little bit and it's all good. I don't necessarily ever want to be drunk crazy guy anymore. That's not, you know, what I'm gunning for. But you know, like I said, you know, you sit down on a Saturday, you're having a good time, and I drink quickly anyway. You get a couple of those, you know, 6 to 7% beers, and next thing you know, you're going, woof, gets a little away from you, and you next thing you know, I'm a little wobbly.
Yeah, if I'm gonna get crazy, I'd rather get crazy. I would like to not get crazy at a public event, but that just seems to not work out.
Yeah. So I do, and I think for me, you don't ever want to let mama down.
I get why you struggle with that.
Yeah.
I think we all struggle with things that are said and done,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, that might make them disappointed.
And you don't want to be a bad example to your children.
For sure, I
Like,
get
I've been
it.
watching you, all right? So it's like, I don't want to be that guy.
I feel guilty sometimes talking about drinking on the air sometimes because, sometimes it sounds like I'm glorifying it a bit, and I do struggle. I have feelings of guilt about that.
Yeah, I hear you. So we all wrestle with it, and I thought after that, probably wouldn't have anything, but, I got to tell you, man, there's nothing like a good beer. I had a beer yesterday at the ballpark. I'm like, gosh, beer is so good. It's so good. Just enjoy it so much.
What are you sighing about, Sinicki?
You guys are bringing me down on a Friday. Can
You're
you
right.
please cut this shit out?
know.
Right.
Would you take your pussy pills? Get it together.
She's right. Do we have any beer?
It's Friday. Aren't we happy to be here? Aren't we
I'm
going to
so
turn it
happy.
up?
No, but you
No.
can't.
It's you don't have to be an alcoholic drunk like every time you drink. It's like I would like to be the guy that has a couple drinks sociably and not one to be like a slurring drunk.
Kevin, you did nothing wrong. I'll fall on the sword. I made it about, if I talk on the radio, I feel guilty. I'm the pussy. I took the pussy pills. You're just getting something off your chest, and we're here as your friends to listen.
Well, I'm just saying that yes, if I talk a little too much about it, then I hear it. And you guys can talk about all you want, but it's like if mom hears
I get
her
it.
son, and she's like, I think you're just drinking too much.
I totally get it.
Get called out.
You're actually doing good right now. When you were doing the hard liquor, that's when it got away from you.
That was a good adjustment I made. Yeah.
You're in the time of beer for Kevin. And so, you're not really letting it get away from you.
Yeah, you'll get goofy drunk if you do get drunk. It's not going to be like a 9-hour buzz like liquor would be.
I don't see you doing what maybe you did a couple of years ago. You would do the suit sway because you were so hammered from the vodka.
Yeah, right.
That vodka, man,
That vodka will get you.
that'll kick you in the dick.
Yeah. Oh, it will. It
Dick
will.
kicker, dick kicker.
Yeah, I'm still trying to find the sweet spot because, the one thing that I do realize, like, IPAs are my favorite, and those pack a little bit more of a punch. And I'm the kind of guy, like, honestly, if I could dial down the alcohol to about, like, maybe a 4 or 5% where I can have, like, 5 or 6 and just kind of, like, have beers and it's all good, have, feel a little bit light but not be then that's where I want to be. That's all
Sure.
good.
That's the
sweet
dream
spot.
zone.
Yeah, that is the sweet spot. Well, they make an IPA, Founders Beer does, called All Day IPA, where they made an IPA that tastes like an IPA, but it's lower in the alcohol.
That's cool.
For people like me that's likes to pound beer all day, but you don't want to be,
Did you see where your brewery, Cigar City, changed all their cans?
They did yeah.
All of them look different now. They're all in Publix by me, and I was like, whoa, they switched up their where their logo is and how all the cans look.
Probably because they recently had merged with another big brewer, and so
okay.
have to see where that goes. Yeah, I was reading like beer trends coming up, and they said that some of the beer trends were going to go more to like some of like the Mexican beers and the lighter beers, lower alcohol and stuff like that, and away from the IPA. So I was like,
Interesting.
it is interesting because I don't want to go that direction.
Well, then you stick with what you like.
Hell yeah, I will.
That's the great thing about beers, and there's so many choices
Yeah, there
now.
is.
We've
Yeah.
never, if you love beer, we've never been in a better time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's beer time without a doubt.
It's good stuff. Yeah, New England style IPA, man. The civil societies and the Matthews Brewing, that's what I love.
Well,
those.
when you started getting into that, my buddy ended up working. Bigfoot works
Yeah.
with Lagunitas, so he would start giving me all the stuff you were talking about. So I
Yeah.
started trying it as you were kind of getting into it, and that's really kind of all I drink now.
Yeah.
I do love it.
Yeah, after you get into it, it's good stuff. Good stuff. Teresa said in an email, she said, hey, I was listening to the After the Show podcast and got the best idea ever. My morning alarm tone is shot, shot, shot. Everybody. The expression on my husband's face was priceless. I said, well, you can thank KVJ. He just shook his head in disgust.
Yeah, that's a tough way to wake up.
That is a tough way to wake up.
That was so funny when you kept playing that.
Yeah, that is tough. Got some more bathroom stuff. This one from Corey. He actually saw this online. So our contest was different bathrooms in South Florida, but you try to tell the difference. Which one is the men's bathroom? Which one is the women's? One door says blah. The other door says blah. Which one is the men's bathroom? Which one is the women's? One door says blah. The other 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 door says blah. The The other one says blah 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 blah. Which is the one for men? Which one's the one for women?
That is so funny.
Blah.
And I guarantee you somebody's offended by that.
Oh,
it's funny.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Our girl Nikki in Fort Lauderdale sent this in. Said, yeah, I found this. It's the new rooftop bar in Fort Lauderdale called Rooftop. I've heard about that. I got to go check that out. Can you tell which one is the men's bathroom, which one is the ladies' bathroom if you're watching KBJ TV?
Oh, I can.
It looks like the men's and women's lady parts that's kind of like on a circle there on the door. But what's clever is for the ladies, that actually is just a silhouette of a wine glass that's coming up and making
It's a martini glass.
Or martini glass. And then for guys, that ain't a donger, that's a beer bottle. So
That's
there you
cute.
go. That's very
super creative.
Have to put that into the mix. Thank you very much, Nikki. Appreciate that. We were talking about the food items you eat just by itself. Those two chicks were at an NBA game on camera eating out of a mayo jar. And somebody said, I was just listening to the podcast on Wednesday about the steak sauce and condiments, which reminded me of my mom. She stole mayo all the time when she was younger because her mom thought they would make you fat, so her mom would never buy it for her. And to this day, my mom eats mayo straight out of the jar with a spoon. She legit has her own mayo jar at home.
That is
Really?
so gnarly. That's rough.
That is rough, isn't it?
The mayo on its own is really disgusting. But I love it on sandwiches. It's bizarre.
Yeah. Could you imagine that? Craziness. Let me see here. Other stuff we got going on today is from Robert. He says, I'm 19, been listening to you guys for a couple years now, and I have an addictive personality, so I'm very much addicted to you guys. That's good to hear. There's been plenty of times I've wanted to call or text. I never have, but been through a rough couple of months, and yesterday's my 2-year anniversary with my girlfriend. But today she broke up with me.
Oh,
That's tough to do on a 2-year anniversary. Come on now.
dang.
My friend saw her at a mall a few hours later with another guy.
Oh, shit that, man.
You cheated and then you broke up on the 2-year anniversary.
That is really tough to handle.
I'm sorry to hear that, my friend.
She cheated on me before and I forgave her, and this is what I get. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So you can let Virginia know that women are just as bad as men. I know Jason will agree with me on that.
Yeah, look, humans, they do shitty things, guy or girl. Some people just are fucking nasty people.
I'm heartbroken. I could use some advice and a pep talk. Love you guys. Wish I was old enough to go to Blue Martini and forget about everything with you guys for a while. Yeah, but the pain's always there, my friend, when you sober up. In fact, a lot of times it's just amplified.
Oh, sometimes if you're going through a breakup and you get drunk, then you're that, I can't fucking believe she left me.
Yeah.
You're that guy.
No, nobody wants to be around that guy.
No,
Yeah.
be careful.
A lot of times, yeah, I would not. If you're going to try to escape pain, drinking is not the right way to handle it.
I completely agree with you. If you are really, really depressed, I think alcohol amplifies the depression.
Mm-hmm. A lot of times with cheaters, I mean, there is something with it. I think psychologically they need some kind of validation. They've got their own self-esteem issues, and they seek it out in the validation by, oh, somebody else finds me hot. And
they're selfish on top of it.
And they lack a moral code. You don't want to be with somebody that lacks a moral code, my friend. It's not good.
It'll make you stronger. I know it sucks right now, but in 2 years, you'll be bulletproof.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Just a little longer.
This terrible Kelly Clarkson sing-along has been brought
I'm
to you.
proud to say I don't
By
know
two dick
any.
faces.
Yeah,
You got to know the words.
I am proud to say I don't.
Virginia's on this big thing about knowing the words.
You got to know the words. You got to know how the song flows.
Well, then I'd never sing a song.
If the two of you got up there and did Kelly Clarkson, that would be fucking awesome.
Wow, we do Breakaway.
That is that. Yeah, that might be my favorite
It's
Kelly
so
Clarkson
slow.
song.
Love your face, love your face, love your nose. Oh, I forget. I don't know the words.
Embrace. That's my like driving by the ocean song.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
I will love you and you love me.
That is not a good karaoke song.
No, it's not. You're right. No, you're right. If I do that, kick me
But
right in the face.
if you do it, you have to do it like over dramatic.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck nut. Just up there, just going for
Maybe
it.
a front kick.
Yes.
I'm with you. I have to be careful. If I You have to stop me from jumping on my knee tonight.
If you go up in the air, I will lay under you.
Seriously, you got to stop me from jumping. You got to stop me from dancing, baby.
You can't hurt your knee again. 'Cause
Yeah,
that
good luck.
thing is already like crooked, facing outwards, and puffy.
But you can't stop this dance train. No, you can't. Oh, yeah, I'm dancing right now. I'm popping and locking.
Yeah, baby.
You're gonna hurt yourself.
Oh, totally.
Nobody's ever fallen off the front of the Blue Martini stage.
Not on the show.
That would be rough.
Just
honestly,
think
yeah.
about how dangerous the setup kind of is.
Yeah,
you know?
because it's got that gap, and you've got those bottles that's right down there. I mean, yeah, you go down into that, you're going to get messed up.
Or fall on a bartender's head.
Yeah, you would hurt them badly. You'd hurt yourself badly. Thank God that hasn't happened.
All right, knock on wood.
Knock on wood, Kevin.
We tempting fate? What the shit? I'm gonna snap an ankle tonight.
On a bartender's neck.
I'm gonna fall on that one dude's neck and snap an ankle.
That dude just called in sick to work.
Gosh, that would be rough.
That would.
Yeah, we don't need that happening. No. Let's see here. Got an email that says, are any of you guys going to be going out to any of the marches tomorrow? No pressure or political bias. Just curious as to whether we'll see KVJ out. I'm going to be in Parkland tomorrow. Hashtag MSD Strong. Blood in, blood out.
Blood in, blood out.
Blood in, blood out. I'm going to go check out the one in West Palm and go over there. We got an invite to be out there and wanted to show support for The Voice. But it's one of those things, unfortunately, it's become a very tense political issue. And my support, personally speaking for myself, is that I feel that the kids should have a voice because it's something that directly affects them. And I find it sad sometimes the responses that people are having to the kids that I'm seeing.
It's really gross when people are lashing out at these poor kids. But
Yeah.
it's political. It's all about gun control.
Yeah.
And it's really polarizing.
Well, and my point about it, it's too bad that we can't have a discussion. And so, I'm sticking my neck out a little bit, but even just, some of the stuff that I see on our social, somebody said that here's a picture of me when I was in high school, and an adult asked me my opinion on how this country should be run, and then it says image not found. Basically kids shouldn't have a voice. And we're not asking them about trade with Mexico. We're not asking them on nuclear proliferation. We're asking them, or we should listen when they talk about they feel unsafe at school and it is affecting the fact that they're there and they feel like they can't get an education safely. And to me, if it directly affects them, we should listen to what they want to say. And I think that's what they want to do. And so that whole shut up, you're a kid, you're not 18, we don't ask you, and you don't have any part in this country, I don't like that attitude. And so for me, I think just to be like, hey, let's just listen to what they have to say. I'm not out here because I'm not saying ban any kind of guns or anything like that. I don't even want to take up that debate. I'm just like, let them have a chance to talk. Can they just talk? I mean, is there anything wrong with listening to what these kids have to say and then be like, okay, we hear you. I understand. I sympathize with that.
The problem is these kids have amassed a very powerful constituency that is now taking a lot of money out of the NRA's pocket. And anybody who is pro-NRA sees these kids as the direct enemy.
Yeah.
If you see and you love your assault rifle, these kids want to take it away from you. So that is now the battle. It's not about the kids' voices. It's about guns.
Yeah, it's too bad that not everyone can sit down and just have a civil discussion. And
Kevin.
To me, it is too bad.
You're a dreamer.
Well, I'm just saying.
But not only about this topic, about anything.
About anything. And I want to be on the side of that. And I want to support people who want to have a voice. Like, for instance, with Pride Fest, and the reason why we've been a part of it for so long, for the same reason is I'm like, we need to have a discussion. We need to listen to what this community needs to say, and we need to respect their opinion and their feelings. And I feel the same way about these students from Stoneman Douglas, that we need to listen to what they have to say, and I support their right to be able to say that, and we need to have a discussion without being like, don't get all crazy and up in arms, because you literally are, about this. Let them speak. Let's have the discussion, because a big part of it, they were told that we're not going to have the discussion now. Let's have the discussion now, and let's talk about it.
The problem is every time they speak, they take money away from the NRA and make the NRA less powerful. And the more they do that, the less powerful the NRA becomes, the more gun control becomes more of a reality. And that's why these people get so angry and they don't want the kids to speak. Everybody's saying, oh, it's not political. It is so political.
Yeah.
It's polarizing, and you're pretty much on one side or the other.
Yeah.
You're the rare breed, Kevin. You're the rare breed that's in the middle that wants to hear both sides and figure it out and talk about it.
Yeah.
There's just not a lot of people like you.
It's too bad. It is too bad. So if there's, not that I would have any influence on it, but if I did, just by being there and, you know, saying, hey, can we just talk about it? And you be calm, both sides. Let's just talk about it. Let's just create whatever the solution is so that kids can feel safe at schools. I am a proponent of that, and let's have the discussion now to get to that resolve and that end as quickly as possible for these children. And for children, not only them, but for children everywhere. That's just it. Let's just have a discussion about it. But yeah, you're right. It is very interesting how quickly people get very revved up about it. It's just interesting, too, to me, some of the responses that people have. And you often wonder if it's social media or if it's just... were people always assholes and social media was the megaphone for it? Or the fact that social media has kind of changed how we think that our own personal awful opinions just shouldn't stay inside of us?
The reason why it's glaring is because you're seeing it from everybody. Before social media existed, if someone was an asshole, it was one little experience that you had. It wasn't, you know, if you think someone's an asshole, you can find literally 700,000 assholes online, and you can read all of this stuff, and you're like, that person said that, and that person said that, and you can get it so quick, and you can absorb all that negativity so quickly. You couldn't do that back in the day. So I don't know. Were there always assholes, or does something about getting behind a computer or a device bring out the stranger in somebody?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Because I really don't think people are walking around. I mean, obviously some people do, but I don't feel like a lot of people are saying the shit in person that they say online.
Yeah,
it's different.
I wonder if, you know, I guess my thought is social media, even just in our real life, got us desensitized, or at least thinking that we can go on ahead and now verbalize and say these things that come to mind, the kind of awful stuff that you would only see on social media.
I think social media has, without a doubt, changed the way everybody acts towards one another now.
Yeah.
I think it's that powerful. When you've got your grandma who's 85 years old on Facebook or joining Twitter, they're in it, man. They're all in it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. There was a girl that when I was out at the Rib Roundup, they brought up some Stoneman Douglas students. And so I was bringing some of the girls backstage so they could go up on stage. And I was just so happy to be talking to this girl, and she had mentioned softball. I'm like, oh, my daughter plays softball, blah, blah, blah. And she said, oh, what's your daughter's name? And I said, Caitlin. She's like, oh, my gosh, she's my coach. I'm like, oh, no way. So my daughter knew this girl, and I was asking Caitlin the other night, I'm like, so how's that friend of yours? Have you seen her? I saw her at the concert. She's like, oh, yeah, I was with her at a softball game the other day. And her brother is the one that you may have heard the story about, the freshman kid that ran into the shooter right before he started, you know, going off and said, hey, this thing's about to go down. You might want to get out of here. And
the shooter was putting his gun together and warned this one kid that just ran into him in the hallway, said, hey, you better get out of here. It's about to go down. And so that was this girl's brother.
The kid runs outside, and he runs into Coach Feist, who was the offensive line coach at Stoneman Douglas. And Coach Feist puts him in a golf cart and drove him over to the middle school and said, all right, I'm going to go in and see what happens. And Coach Feist goes in, and Coach Feist doesn't make it out. And so my daughter is with this girl, and she's wearing a Douglas High softball shirt. And this guy at the softball game's like, oh, you went to, you go to Douglas? And she's like, yeah. He's like, were you there for the shooting? She said, yeah, I was in a classroom. I was, barricaded in there. And she said, my brother actually ran into the shooter and told that story. And the guy was like, so your brother just ran away? He could have stopped the shooting and he didn't do anything with it? And she's like, well, yeah, I mean, he, was facing a guy that had a gun. He's like,
a kid.
He's like, does he feel guilty that those 17 people died because of him?
Oh my gosh.
And she
what
was
a
just
horrible person. A grown adult man said this
Yeah,
to
this
your daughter's young friend.
Yeah, this girl's in high school. She's a senior, I think, at Stoneman Douglas. And you're just like that's the kind of stuff where you hear like somebody would say something like that, and I'm like, what did your friend say? She didn't say anything. She was just like, she didn't know how to respond. She's like, and you're like, what an asshole.
That is disgusting.
Well, I mean, since the beginning of time, there's always been assholes, and I think that's part of accepting that when you go out into the world, I think there's about 25% assholes. I think that's the ratio.
That's a high ratio.
Any given day, you can run into an asshole, but I think 3 out of 4 people are not. One person's an asshole, and you're never, unfortunately, it's very sad, you're never going to rid assholes. They're always going to be assholes. It sucks.
Yeah, I always hope for a world where the assholes will go away, but you're probably right. There's maybe just something that's in people's DNA that makes you an asshole. I don't know.
Well, when people have any kind, it doesn't matter what it is. When there's a difference of opinion, and all it takes is a difference of opinion and one person not to handle it right, and then you've got fucking chaos, and you're never going to get rid of that.
Well, this guy might be part of that movement that now is very anti-Stoneman Douglas because of what these Stoneman Douglas kids are doing and changing and trying to do with gun control. So he looks at anybody in a Stoneman Douglas shirt as the enemy.
Yeah.
And the person that's going to maybe take his guns away.
Yeah.
So that's why he's saying stupid shit to her.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm just talking about assholes in general.
Yeah.
Everybody's got an agenda.
They do.
Especially assholes.
Yeah. Well, I would say, look, if you're on the side of right, bring up your points and have your discussions, and hopefully the right solution will come for this. And ultimately, kids can go to school. I think at least find the common ground. I don't think either side wants kids to go to school in fear of seeing 17 of their classmates die in front of them.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
That right there is common ground.
But I think what Virginia was saying, that part's not being heard. It's not about that anymore. It's really
not.
it's starting to turn ugly.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
You can't bring it back to that either. As much as you would like it to be about that, it's too far.
Yeah.
It won't ever come back to that.
And I'm saying ugly on both whatever political side you're on. It's nothing but a political discussion now.
Yeah, the people who are organizing the one I'm going out to, I'm going to be at Dreyer Park tomorrow at 2. They stress in the email that they're saying to everybody, like, we are just out here to support the students. That's what they want to do. We're not out to push a political agenda, they said in their email. And they said, let's try to have everybody be cool. That's what they want. They want a positive showing of solidarity behind the concerns of these kids. And we're not trying to stake up a fight of whatever. We just want to show our love and support and say, we're going to help you come up with a resolve and a solution for this. And we're listening to what you have to say. And I'm like, that's what we need. Listen to what they have to say. So there's a lot of places you can go online. Sun Sentinel put together a nice thing that I have on my personal Facebook page you can go find, but it's on their website. It's got all the different places, if you want to go out to see all the different walks and what happens. And my biggest hope is that it's safe for everybody everywhere. And it just is cool, and you don't see people going out there and having to fight.
You hope there's not a big counter protest, but if I was you going out there, I'd be prepared for it. Don't be surprised if it's out there, and just make sure you're safe.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's it. Let me see what else we got going on here. That's about it. Rest of the weekend, got tonight, of course, Cocktails Karaoke, 7 o'clock. Virginia guys, her cooking show, that's going to be going down tomorrow. I know that's got you booked for the afternoon.
It does. It had me all last night. It's got me for most of today, and then it's got me all day Saturday.
Yeah.
And in case you can't come out and see it physically at Bloomingdale's, 1 o'clock on Saturday, we're going to make a YouTube video out of it as well. So you'll be able to totally get the recipe from there. Yeah,
and we're getting everything that we have. Any of the other side projects, people are always like, oh, hey, where's the, whether it be the Weird and Whatever or the Godcast or the sports thing that I do in the afternoon. It's supposed to all be, and I know we're getting it all put under the same page. You can go to kvjshow.com and go under podcasts, and you'll be able to find all our little stuff. So you're not running all over the internet. So it's just going to be right there in one place. So you'll be able to see and I think we do video with everything. I know Weird and Whatever is, you're doing video. I do video for Kevin's other show. So, yeah, so you can go check out the videos. The only thing we didn't do video on was the Godcast. So
yeah, if anyone wants to watch the Weird or Whatever, all you have to do is type in Weird and Whatever, and it should come right up.
yeah. So easy enough to find. And then on Sunday, Pride Fest going to be going down.
Yes, we're very excited. I've been assembling all of our throws. We have a bunch of beads, toys, stuffed animals, candy.
So I love to see, they said 25,000 people are going to be there. I'm like, gosh, that's so amazing. Because I just remember year one in 99. And how many people were there? A couple hundred?
A few hundred.
A few hundred?
Yeah.
But I mean, it wasn't 25,000.
No.
I remember we were going through a small neighborhood.
We were.
Yeah.
It was like Flamingo Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, small little neighborhood. And there was like no one on the streets. I still have vivid memories of that. And there would be, there's a couple people there. Hey, wave to them. So that's awesome to see how that, event is grown. It's very positive and very cool. So hopefully you can go and support everyone out there for Palm Beach Pride this weekend. All right, y'all. That is going to do it for us. Hopefully we'll see y'all out. We'll get your grub on this weekend. Jaybird's first successful food project is that bird sauce. And you can get it at Bud's Chicken and Seafood, 7 different locations in Palm Beach County.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
And when you go in there, make sure you try the chicken fingers. I want to start talking about those again.
The chicken fingers may be the best pairing with the bird sauce.
It is.
I like the seafood with the Bud's sauce. I know it's controversial. Sometimes I will dip my shrimp in the bird sauce, but I always go back to the Bud sauce for my crab cake.
But you built a career in controversy, so
She did. She really has done
I
it
built
well.
this city.
and no, we're not singing that song tonight.
No.
Please.
All right, well, you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.